Hey, welcome to the Dray Way. I'm glad you're here. I got a great show for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Yeah, it's that little button. Hit the subscribe button because I'm trying to get to 100,000. And like I always say, I need your help. Without you, I can't get there. So hit the subscribe button. Thanks for joining me on the Dray Way. We got a good show for you today, so let's go. Let's go! Welcome to the Dray Way. Hey, we have a lot to talk about, but let's start with poll numbers for Donald Trump. Yeah, let's start there because they're the worst ever. Yeah, the poll numbers are in for Donald Trump, and he is sinking like the Titanic. Yes, and he's sinking because he's just bad at his job. He's just a bad person. He just does a really bad job, and now his numbers are just going straight down. And they're going straight down because people are starting to figure out already, just in the first 30 days, they're starting to figure out he doesn't know what he's doing at all. I mean, he is clueless. But the thing I just can't wrap my head around is, what did you expect from an orange fat dude with a bad comb over? I mean, he's an old man. He's almost 80 years old. Have you seen him walking around? It's like, oh my God, someone get him a wheelchair. What did you expect from this guy? And now we have him doing the duties of president. We didn't see what that did to Biden. Biden became an old man like that when he became president. He was fine, and then after a year or two of being president, it aged him like that. So you know what we thought we would do? We would put in another fat old guy. Yeah, let's see how he does. Oh, by the way, he paints himself orange, and he's dumb as a rock. I mean, he is so dumb. And that's what we thought would lead this country. That's where we thought we'd do. So we put him in, and now he doesn't know what he's doing. So now he's put some rich kook. Sorry, I don't care how rich Elon Musk is. He's a kook. I bet you as a woman, you wouldn't go out with him. You'd go out with him for his money, but you wouldn't you wouldn't be entertained for anything else because he's a nut job. Yeah, Elon Musk is, all his oars do not touch the water. He's a little bit off, if you can't tell. So that is kind of what Donald Trump has kind of passed along. Well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. What he wants to do is play golf because so far that's pretty much what he's been doing. Day after day after day, he plays a lot of golf. Almost half of his presidency already, he's been playing golf. So while he's getting everybody angry around the world, while he's doing these ridiculous tariffs, while he's now talking about, he's talking about sending out checks from supposed money that has been found. Nonsense. But if he would, let's say he does send out checks. How inflationary would that? Are you kidding? You think eggs are expensive now? You think things are expensive? You start passing out $5,000 checks and, inflation would be through the roof. And interest rates would go, mortgage interest rates would go to 9-10%. That's what would happen. And that's what may still happen because everything Donald Trump is doing is inflationary. All of it. It's all inflation. And that's why prices continue to go up. And that is why people now are finally starting to figure out he's not good at this. And I warned you. I told you. Because some of you have come on here and said, oh, you said Harris was going to win. Ha, 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 Drayton. You said Harris was going to win. Yes, I was wrong about that one thing. But you're leaving out all the other things I was right about. Because I told you. I warned you. I said if Donald Trump ever became president again, he would do this, and this. And guess what he's done since he's become president? This, exactly what I told you he would do. So yeah, I was wrong about one thing, but you were wrong about 10. Because Donald Trump has been a disaster in his first 30 days. And guess what? Guess what? It's only going to get worse. And it's going to get worse because have you seen the people he's put in charge? These people are dumber than dishwater. They are not qualified for their positions whatsoever. So the destruction you're going to see over the next year and a half, oh, hold on to your seats. The only saving grace is this. Already, people across the country are like, yeah, this was a bad idea. This was a really, really bad idea. And we're going to correct it in the midterms. When the midterms come around, it's all going to be corrected because the Republicans have a 0% chance of winning the House back. Yeah. Enough people have seen what Donald Trump is doing to go, yeah, this isn't what we signed up for. And we certainly didn't sign up for some guy that wasn't even born here, some billionaire that has contracts with the government to be walking around doing things in the government. It's a horrible conflict of interest. Horrible. Crazy conflict of interest. To have a guy that has all these government contracts walking around D.C. getting personal information. Let me know what you think. Welcome to the Dray Way. I'm glad you're here. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Has Donald Trump been a complete and total disaster in the first 30 days? Let me know and stay right there. You know, I was looking at a picture of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and stuff, and I was looking at all the people. The two that Donald Trump fired, he fired a woman and he fired a guy of color. He fired a black guy. And he fired the woman. And now it's just a bunch of white guys. And I'm tired of it. I'm literally taking this segment of the show to say I'm tired of white men in power. I'm tired of white men constantly being in control of things when it comes to Washington, D.C. That's not the United States. I'm sorry, but the United States is not a bunch of old white men anymore. That's not what this country is about. This country is so diverse. This country, and it needs it desperately. It's what makes the country unique and wonderful at the same time. And it's why I feel most alive, as strange as it sounds. The more ethnic places I go to, like the more I go to Miami, the more I go to certain areas around the country, Little Italy, just whenever I go somewhere in the country that's racially diverse, I'm more comfortable there. And it's such a more, I don't even know the words for it. It's just such an overwhelming experience. It's so enlightening, so refreshing. I love other cultures. I love other people. I'm a social guy, So I love learning about different foods and different, it's exciting. Women in charge is something I'd like to see more of. People of color and women in charge is something I would like to see more of because that represents United States. That's really this country. A bunch of old white men, I'm sorry, I am completely over it. I'm tired of 80-year-old white men in Washington telling us what we should do for the next 20, 30 years. Hate to break it to you, you're not going to be around. Same with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he's not going to be around 10, 20 years from now. So I don't care what he says, what he thinks, anything. When you're 80 years old, go sit down. Go sit down and go, instead stand behind somebody in their 30s and 40s and coach them. But be a mentor. But you don't have to be out front anymore. I don't want you out front anymore. You're 80 years old. Go sit back and mentor somebody. Start teaching, start spreading your knowledge. But being out in front and, hey, come follow me, I'm 80 years old. No, no. It's time for us to stop that in Washington. Republican or Democrat. Like McConnell from Kentucky. Why? Why do we have to see a guy so old now that he'll be talking and all of a sudden, that's what he does. He just and everybody's like, everybody around is like, what do we do? Yeah, he's really, really, really old, and he shouldn't be doing this anymore. We have to start doing something, because apparently as Americans, we haven't figured it out yet. Stop voting in people 80 years old. Stop it. Stop it. Stop doing that. There's other candidates. There's better candidates than picking somebody in their 80s. Let them go home. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I had to get that off my chest, because I'm just, I saw that picture of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Of course, you fire the black guy and you fire the woman, and now it's just a bunch of old white dudes. Yeah, it's terrible. Let me know what you think. Don't go anywhere. I have a final thought. The car market is the car market is something I don't get really involved in. When you reach my age, what you drive becomes less and less important. And just the convenience of making sure, because my qualifications now for a car, air conditioning, the radio has to work, and the car has to start. That's it. I don't need an $80,000, $100,000 car. I don't need to spend that money on that. I don't need when I buy a car, I buy one 6 to 8 years old, and I buy it in cash. $800 a month car payment, crazy. Don't do it. There's never a reason to do it. You don't have to do it. That money could be put elsewhere. Save money. Buy a $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, $15,000 car. Put a little money aside each month so that when repairs come up, you got the money available. But an $800, $1,200 car payment, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I know it feels good to get a new car. I know. I remember the feeling. It's been over 20 years ago, but I remember the feeling. But I also remember the feeling of what it was worth just 3 years later. And I don't want to repeat that anymore. And especially now with car prices basically collapsing, there's going to be opportunities out there. And don't fall into the trap of buying a new car because it's discounted $10,000 and now instead of 80 it's 70. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Cars don't define who you are at all. At all. I mean, I'm around some really rich people here in Las Vegas. Really rich. And none of them, not a single one, drives a Lamborghini or a fancy sports car. Not one. Most of them drive a Lexus or a Toyota. One person a Honda. But that's it. A Lexus or a Toyota. None of them are driving around Lamborghinis or, fancy. That's not happening. Because they understand it's just about getting from point A to point B, and you don't need anything to, I mean, when you're rich, you think you need a fancy car to show everybody that you have money? You don't care. You don't. When you have money, you don't care what other people think. And as you get older and as you get more confident, you realize that material things, you leave with nothing. As I get older, I want fewer things. I don't want more. I want less. I've gotten so basically simple. I want a decent sized kitchen with nice pots and pans that I can cook with. I want a big television with a big couch, because I'm a big guy, with a big bed. That's it. I want to sleep in my big bed. I want to be able to cook in my kitchen. I want to watch TV on a big TV, and I want to lay on my couch. That's it. I don't need 4,000 square feet for that. I don't need 6,000 square feet. I don't need, and I've had 6,000, 8,000. I've had really big homes. And the most miserable I ever was in my really big homes. Because why do you have this big, ridiculously sized house and some of the rooms you never walk into? Does that make sense to you? Yeah, never made sense to me either. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. That's the Dray Way. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget, there is a new Dray Way each and every day. And I can't thank you enough for joining me. I hope you stop by and see the show tomorrow. And if you want to see more shows, there's lots more. There's lots more. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow on the Dray Way.